Alrighty, boys. Christmas is tomorrow. Today is Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas to y'all, and have a mighty fine day as always. Point of this video: I was laying on my floor in my living room, being all cozy by the fireplace, and guess what I remember? I remember that I've driven this car twice and didn't check the oil. I've also remembered that I've given you guys an update this summer, and I've told you that I would follow up with you. Well, it's been some time now and I still haven't. So I walked out here, popped the hood. I'm like, wait, I gotta record this. So I went back in the house and grabbed my phone, which I'm using as a camera. So here you go. How's this oil consumption issue been? You guys need to watch my other video, how I talked about how I haven't experienced it, and then I experienced it. And when I thought I was going to experience it, I didn't. But then when I never saw it coming, it happened. It was very weird. I came to a conclusion that it's either the oil temperature that's really messing with it. I showed in the video how we all just watch the temperature gauge of the coolant. Don't really pay attention to the oil. Fortunate enough on this vehicle, you have that option. You know, you got this bad boy here. Personally, I think you got to be 180 and up to be considered fully operational temp. So yeah, that's A, you know, your oil temperature before you start mobbing it, or B, the RPM that the load you're giving it. So watch your throttle. So if you, for example, have it in comfort or whatever, the regular, when you're starting it, and then you up it on the modes to sport. Oh, what the heck am I showing you? What am I talking about? Why don't I just show you? Oh, I got the key, sweet deal. So let me see if I'm doing this right. People calling me. Hold on a sec, peeps. So there we go. So it's the fourth thing. Okay, we know all that. Okay, now drive normal. You got normal, then you got sport. Okay, well, as soon as you put it in sport, you get a more aggressive throttle. You get, and that's not the only thing. Your suspension gets a little firmer, I believe, and so on and so forth. Well, let's shut it down so I don't forget about it. So yeah, it's the second one that we're talking about as far as the driving. Not only the load at what RPM you're given, so I would say, you know, nothing lower than 2 cruising on the flats, and I think that might be a little low for this car. I would say 25 and up is where you want to be, but these are all just assumptions. These are all personal preference. There's nothing scientific about it. So at 25 and up, gradually increase your throttle. Now, why I'm showing you those modes, because also with normal mode you get one response of the throttle, therefore there's a different load on that engine at, you know, 20% throttle, for example. Well, let's use real values. 10% throttle, like I'd like to do 10%, keep it under 10% at 2500, then at 3, you know, give it that 15-20 mark, and then at 4 I could give it more. I feel like 4.5, 5 you could give it all the beans. That's my idea, my interpretation. So when you're in sport, it's a lot more aggressive. This thing's a lot more aggressive, and as some people mention, this thing has VTEC, and VTEC is Honda's way of saying it, but variable timing. I really think these are the solenoids, to be honest with you. So I might be wrong, might be way off, but I really think that's what it is, because you could clearly feel it. Like if this car studies you in a way, like you're always driving slow, and then you give it the beans, and then like it hesitates for a second, all of a sudden like it goes. And I could tell why it's good. I feel the car, and I feel what's going on with it. It's definitely changing the timing and the angle. So that's what I believe it is. Now back to the point of this video. So A, your temperature on your oil, and B, your throttle position percentage at the low RPMs. So my idea, you know, the low RPMs, you give it that higher percentage of throttle, you're driving more aggressive. And I mean, we're talking about milliseconds though, but there's bigger load on the piston rings at lower RPMs in the milliseconds. Because I've shared in my video that I've taken this thing out on the track, the drag strip, the circuit, no issue. The oil didn't go anywhere. It's when the temperature got a little cooler, and I was not on the track, driving around town, but we all know this thing sounds really nice with the stock exhaust. And I found myself losing oil all of a sudden. You just got to watch the other videos. So that's the point from that video. We're just updating you. I always have one of these down because I like the way it sounds. Figured I'd share that with you. I think I've seen another YouTuber share that. But anyways, so that's my update, guys. At 4,400, Well, I didn't show you the level. That's what I haven't showed you. Well, when I use this selfie pole that I have just set up here for other reasons, but we're going to use it today for this reason. I'm going to walk over there and grab me a shop towel, and then I'll be back in the picture, in the shop. So, bear with me for a few days. All right. Looks like we got halfers. Let me try to show you guys. One side is messy, and then the other, oh, this side. I don't know how good the video is going to do it. Let me see. Okay, so focus. Maybe focus here. Oh man, you really can't tell in the video. Come on. My camera sucks. Anyways, so right about here, half the dipstick is dry. Well, anyways, half it is. You're gonna have to believe me on this. So what was it? 3,100? No, it's a little before 3,100. 3,100 is when I made that video. I think right under 3,000. I topped it off, maxed it out, meaning, you know, top level. This hole right here. Now this camera really can't zoom, or whatever the deal is. On the screen, I'm tapping for it to zoom on. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Where were you before, buddy? Anyway, so that's the maximum hole, right? Of course, I wiped down the dipstick after before anything, but so let's keep it simple. At 3,000, I topped it off, and we're at 44, guys. 1,400 miles, 1,500 miles, and we're halfway down. That's pretty impressive. Some guys are burning a quart every 1,000 miles, and they're saying that's normal. And I would agree. I guess it's normal for 8,300 redline engine. But yeah, it's not as bad. And of course, seems like vehicle to vehicle varies. You know, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, me and another guy broke in this vehicle properly. And that does not mean we got the keys and we romped the piss out of it. That's not what I mean. I'll share. I'll make a specific video of the way I believe engines need to get broken in. But that's another time. Topic for another time. So, 50 rounded off, 1,500 miles. This engine had half a quart, safe to say. And that is more than acceptable in my world. So anyways, yeah. Let me put this dipstick back there. So yeah, boys, that's the video. That's what I had to share with you. Hopefully that helps some of you GT350 owners, and you guys could relate. Comment what you guys figured out in your world and what works and what doesn't for you. Just for a side note, what kind of modifications am I thinking about this thing? I'm thinking a crank ventilation deal, getting that fixed up, but that's about it. I think that's the only thing I'm gonna do. This filter's getting some debris in there. Anyways, boys, as always, may the Lord bless you. May y'all have a mighty fine day, and let's keep each other updated about these cars. Bye.